What's up everybody, and welcome back to Legit Whiskey Reviews, and today I'll be reviewing ASW Duality Double Malt. Alright, so I got a good one today. So we have a double malt whiskey here. This is 50% malted barley and 50% malted rye, so that's super interesting. This comes out of the ASW distillery out of Atlanta, Georgia. And this is 114.6 proof, so that is 57.3% ABV. So super interested in this one here. They also have the Duality regular. I think it's like maybe 88 proof, somewhere around there, give or take. But so they have the regular Duality, and this is of course the cask strength version of the Duality. And they make many other different products, from the Georgia Heartwood, the Fiddler, they make Tire Fire, they make all kinds of varieties of whiskeys, and this is one that I've never really tried before, and I've been wanting to get into it. The Fiddler, Georgia Heartwood is also another one I've been wanting to try. But today, like I said, we're reviewing the Duality Double Malt. And like I said, again, this is 50% malted barley and 50% malted rye. And this is double pot distilled as well. So can't wait to get into this one. And price on this is around the $60 to $70 mark, give or take, on depending on your area. And as far as availability, I think the availability on this is pretty good. But I'm not sure how widespread throughout the country it is, but I know in my area I can find this pretty much most places, and a lot of other states I've been to, I have seen it in those states. So I think it just really depends where you're at. So all right, so super interested to get into this one, and let's start with the nose. So one thing that I noticed when I first opened this up, I was getting a ton of fruitiness, but I was getting a ton of oak. There was a lot of oak going on in there, but I think as it's been open and more air has gotten in here, this has turned even more fruity to me. So the first note that I pick up from that fruity aspect is the cherry, like a very prominent cherry note. There's also it kind of lingers in the background, but it's also like in the front too, is a good amount of smoke here. There's a lot of spice coming through. Maybe a little bit of maybe like a toffee type note. There's a good amount of like orange peel in here. Yeah, it feels like every time I go in here for another smell, it's just like something else comes through. So there's a lot going on in here. But yeah, this smells really good. I feel like it's very fruit forward in a way, but it's also very smoky and very spicy on the nose. It has changed a little bit from the time I've opened it up to now, so that's pretty interesting. Yeah, there's a good amount of vanilla as well. But let's get into the palate now. Cheers. So this is very spicy. So I feel like the most prominent note on the palate is a very spice forward note. Very fruity on the palate as well. I feel like on the front of the palate, that's where I'm getting the cherries. maybe a little bit of a darker note, maybe like some type of raisin type note coming through as well. But like I said, very spicy, mid palate, spicy, a good amount of oak, a good amount of char. And then I feel like towards the back end of the palate, that's where it starts to turn very smoky. And I feel like towards the back end of the palate, that's where I feel like it starts to turn almost kind of like, it feels like I'm kind of drinking an Isla Scotch. It kind of like very smoky, but also some of that like Band-Aid type, that Band-Aid note that you get on certain Isla Scotches. I feel like I'm getting that here. Not like over the top, but it's just like a little bit on the back end. And I like that balance of the sweetness, the fruitiness, the spice, but also to end with that little bit of smoke and that little bit of like that Band-Aid iodine, that if you drink Isla Scotches, you know what I'm talking about. I get a little bit of that towards the back end of the palate, and I really like that. I know to some people it might sound kind of gross, but I really love that note. And for people that are into Isla Scotches, I feel like you would find a lot in here that you really like. So so far I like what I'm getting in the palate. And I feel like it's a good finish. I feel like it's a medium to long finish, more on the long side on the finish as well. Let me go again. Yeah, this is great. So more of the spiciness starts to come over to the forefront of the palate, to the front of the palate. I feel like more of that smoke is also coming to the front of the palate as well. But I feel like the main thing is that balance between the fruit, the spice, and then the smoke is what I'm getting more than everything else. Everything else is there, but it's like in the background, like that little bit of vanilla I'm getting. The fruits, the cherry is still prominent, and I feel like that little bit of some type of raisin note is there in the background. The char, a good amount of char is also there, a little bit of black pepper. So there's just a lot going on in here. And that being said, since it's such a high proof and there's so much going on, I feel like it's pretty complex. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of water to this just because it's such a high proof and there's so much going on in here. Let me try this. It's about 2 drops there. All right. So I feel like with the water added in, I feel like this is getting, it kind of tamed down the spice. And I feel like it's a little bit fruitier on the nose. I'm starting to get an apple on the nose with the water. It still smells good, but I kind of like that spice. I do like how it, besides the cherry, I'm getting more of an apple note as well now. So let me try it on the palate. I feel like there's not much of a difference. If anything, I feel like it got a little bit more peppery, but the smoke is still there. The spice is still there, just a little bit more tame. But everything else is pretty much the same. I did put 2 drops in here. Maybe I should have put a little bit more, but overall, I don't think it made much of a difference. But this one is super interesting. I can't wait till it opens up a little bit more to see what else comes through, because I feel like every time I go into this glass and pour a glass, I feel like something else comes through. Something, it just evolves and changes into something else. So I can't wait to see what this opens up into, and I can't wait to try their other products, because this one's really good. I'm gonna give this a B+. As far as the pricing, I don't think it's overpriced, but it is a little bit pricey, but it is a little it's a craft distillery, even though they are putting out a lot of different whiskeys, so I feel like that's fair. So, you know, the pricing is a little bit high, but it's not out of the norm, especially nowadays for whiskey. So I'm gonna give it a B+. So if you guys enjoyed the content, remember to smash the like button, remember to subscribe, and keep it legit, and do it for the love of whiskey. Cheers.